Very good morning, children. I am Deepa, your physical science teacher from Dr. Bison School. Okay, children, we are discussing about mixtures, isn't it? We already discussed about elements and compounds, and also we discussed about mixtures in our previous class. So before starting today, first you should be ready with your books, isn't it? You should be ready with your textbook, notebook, pen, pencil, everything you should be ready. Okay, children, are you ready with that? Right. Now, so we have discussed about in previous class, we discussed about elements, compounds, that classification of matter. Matter is classified into two types. They are pure substances and mixtures. And again, pure substances are classified into two types, that is elements and compounds. And also we discussed what is a mixture. First of all, what is the element we have discussed? It is a pure substance and it consists of only one type of atom. Whereas compound is a substance that is formed when two or more elements combine in different ratio, in definite ratio chemically, isn't it? And mixtures are substances in which two or more substances are physically mixed together in any proportion, isn't it? So the main difference between compound and mixture, both are two or more substances combined, but in compound they are combined in a definite ratio, means in a fixed ratio. The two substances or three substances which are combined, they should combine in a fixed ratio, like water we have discussed, isn't it? Two parts of hydrogen, one part of oxygen will combine and form water molecule, isn't it? That is compound, means a fixed ratio. How much amount of hydrogen, how much amount of oxygen if it combines, it will not become a water. Whereas in a mixture, there also two or more substances will combine, but they will not combine in a definite proportion. They will combine, okay, in any proportion. They can combine in any proportion. Then it will become a mixture and it can be separated easily. The constituent substances in a mixture can be separated easily by physical methods like heating, evaporation and all. Okay, by filtering and all. Whereas for compounds, the constituents cannot be separated easily by physical methods. Clear, children? This is what we discussed, and for understanding the mixtures more clearly, I told an activity for you to read. I hope you all read. In activity 1, what we have taken? We took some iron nails and sulfur powder. What we have taken? We took iron nails plus sulfur powder and mixed both of them. We combine this iron nails and sulfur powder both together. Okay, after combining, take a bar magnet. Let us take a bar magnet and place the bar magnet near this mixture. What will happen when you place the bar magnet near the mixture? This bar magnet will attract the iron nails. All the iron nails will come and attract to the bar magnet, whereas sulfur powder will remain there. That vessel only, isn't it? Why it happened like that? Because iron and sulfur did not get any new properties. Their old properties are retained like that. Iron is a magnetic substance, sulfur is a non-magnetic substance. Iron is a magnetic substance, whereas sulfur is a non-magnetic substance. So in a mixture, when you combine these two, did iron and sulfur lose their properties? No. Iron remained as a magnetic substance and sulfur remained as a non-magnetic substance. And that is the reason in this mixture, when you placed a bar magnet in the mixture, the iron nails came and attracted to the bar magnet because its property remained as it is. It remained as a magnetic substance, whereas sulfur powder did not attract to the magnet because it remained as a non-magnetic substance. So in a mixture, the constituents will not lose their property. Their property will remain as it is. Am I clear? That is what given in activity 1. Whereas activity 2, to understand about compound. So here what all taken? Iron powder, sulfur powder, burner and a bar magnet. So along with these 3, what more is taken? Burner you have taken. So combine this iron nails and sulfur powder. Okay, here in place of iron nails, iron powder. Combine this iron powder, sulfur powder. See, 7 grams of iron powder you will take in a China dish and mix 4 grams of sulfur powder into it. Here 7 grams of iron powder, mix it to 4 grams of sulfur powder. Okay, after mixing, you leave like that, it will become a mixture. But here after mixing, what you will do? You will heat the mixture using a Bunsen burner. Using the burner, heat this mixture, iron powder and sulfur powder. So what will happen when you heat it? Until the mixture begins to give an orange glow with emission of heat. It will give the orange flame by releasing a large amount of heat. Remove the China dish from the burner. Now iron and sulfur have reacted with each other to form a black substance called. So after combining these two and heated, after combined and heated, what happened? A new substance is formed. What is that new substance? Iron sulfide. What is the new substance formed? The new substance formed is iron sulfide, which is black in color. So this iron sulfide is a compound. Iron sulfide is a compound. Without heating, when you mix it, these two, iron powder and sulfur powder, it is only a mixture. It do not get any new properties. Their properties will remain like that and they can be easily separated by using this bar magnet. But when you mix it these two and heated them, then a chemical reaction took place between these two and a new substance is formed, which we call it as compound. What is that compound? Iron sulfide, new substance with entirely new properties, which is black in color. Clear, children? You will not see the particles of iron and sulfur separately. Now bring a magnet near the China dish. The magnet does not attract the compound. Here, this iron sulfide will not attract to the bar magnet. Why it is not attracting? Because this iron sulfide got entirely new properties. It will not have the properties of iron or will not have the property of sulfur. It will get entirely a new property because it is a compound. Am I clear, children? I hope you understood the main difference between mixture and compound. The magnet does not attract the compound. The constituent elements iron and sulfur of the new compound have lost their individual properties. Their individual properties are lost and it got entirely new properties. Whereas mixture do not have new properties. Understood? Compound will get entirely new properties and we cannot separate iron or sulfur from this iron sulfide by easy methods. This is what a compound. I hope I am clear, children. You all understood? Right. Now see in your textbook once, page number 63. A table given, table 5.1, differences between a compound and a mixture. Just go look into the book. Property, mixture and compound. Composition. Mixtures have variable composition. Here variable means different composition. All the time the mixture should not be in a same composition. Say when you took the mixture of iron and sulfur, there is no specific quantity here, 7 grams or 4 grams. Okay, you can mix as you like. How much amount of iron you want, you can take. How much amount of sulfur we want, we can take. They need not have a particular ratio for a mixture. But for a compound, compounds have fixed composition. Means for compound, iron should be only 7 grams and sulfur should be only 4 grams. Means the ratio should be in this manner. Okay, iron when you take, it should be 3 grams more than sulfur, compulsory. Iron should be more amount compared to sulfur. Then only compound will form. Means it will have a definite proportion. It will have a fixed composition. Chemical bond. The constituents of a mixture do not combine chemically. Chemically they will not combine, so they can be easily separated. Whereas the constituent elements of a compound combine chemically. Here they both have completely combined. Chemically they have combined. Properties. The mixture shows the properties of its constituent elements. Mixture will get the properties of its constituent elements only. Whereas the compound, the properties of a compound are entirely different from its constituent elements. Separation. The constituents of a mixture can be easily separated by simple physical methods. They can be, by bar magnet we have separated the iron, isn't it? So by simple methods, the constituents of mixture can be separated. Whereas for compound, the constituents of a compound cannot be separated by simple physical methods. Examples, air and soil. Air and soil is example for a mixture. Whereas compound, salt, sugar and carbon dioxide. They are the examples for a compound. Am I clear, children? This is about our classification of elements. Here a mind map is given which you can see and all can prepare. Matter classified into 2 types, pure substances and mixtures. Pure substance again 2 types, elements and compounds. So given the definitions of element, compound and mixture also. Okay children? Right. Now next topic is chemical symbols. Before going to that, track your progress. Let us see. Track your progress. Fill in the blanks. A. Atoms of 2 different elements are, what are they called? Atoms of 2 different elements when they combine, they are called compounds. No, we did not say combined. Atoms of 2 different elements are similar or dissimilar? They are dissimilar. Atoms of 2 different elements are dissimilar. Oxygen molecule has dash atoms. How many atoms oxygen molecule has? Oxygen molecule represented with yesterday we discussed O2. What does this 2 represent? 2 atoms. So oxygen molecule has 2 atoms. The constituent elements of a dash lose their own properties. The constituent elements of a dash lose their own properties. The constituent elements of a compound. In a compound, the elements will lose their properties or not? So, compound. Next. The constituents of a compound combine in dash ratio. They combine in fixed ratio or definite ratio. Definite or For a compound, they will combine in fixed ratio, whereas for mixture, they will combine in any ratio. The constants in a dash can be separated by simple physical methods, simply by filtering, by evaporation, using magnets. They can be separated easily. Which constants can be separated easily like that? As the constants of a mixture. The constants of a mixture can be separated easily by simple physical methods. So write these answers in your textbook, then we will go to the new topic. Okay children, completed? If you are not written, you can pause and write. So up to now we learnt about matter, atoms and structure of an atom. You have learnt that protons, neutrons, electrons and all you learnt, and also you learnt about classification of, you learnt about molecules, ions and classification of matter, elements, compounds, mixtures. All that we have learnt up to now, isn't it? Now we are going to a new topic. What is that new topic? Chemical symbols. Very important children. Please concentrate well, which is very, very important for your higher classes also. This is the basic for your higher classes. So please concentrate properly. Chemical symbols, already something I explained in the previous video. That symbol, the symbols if you remember, hydrogen represented with capital H, oxygen with O, isn't it? Carbon with C, we have discussed or not? That is what symbols. Why that symbols? Why that symbols are required? Because chemistry is a vast subject and wherever we explain about this element, every time we should not write the names. What you will write? In place of the name, we will write their symbol. Okay, say in your book. Scientists use chemical symbols to represent elements. What for these chemical symbols are used? They are used to represent. They are used to represent elements. Okay, and each element has its own unique symbol. Every element is having its unique symbol. Okay, John Dalton was the person to use symbols to represent elements with the help of picture symbols. So the scientist who gave this symbol C, who used this is John Dalton. Okay, and also he used the picture symbols, not only the letter symbols. John Dalton also used the picture symbols. Okay, now the abbreviations are used to represent elements. Now we are not using that picture symbol, we are using the letters. Okay, at that time John Dalton used that picture symbols which is given in your textbook. See page number 64, figure 5.4. See here. Oxygen is represented with a circle, hydrogen with a circle and a dot, nitrogen with a circle and a vertical line, carbon by shading in the circle, sulfur, circle and two lines, vertical and horizontal lines, and phosphorus with three lines inside the circle, and again gold, big circle, silver also circle, mercury with different lines. Like that the symbols are used by John Dalton. Okay, but nowadays no one is using this symbol. Now we are using, instead of picture symbols, we are indicating with the letter, alphabets. Okay, what are that we are going to learn now. Example, as we discussed, hydrogen. What is the first letter in hydrogen? H. So the symbol of this hydrogen is given as H, capital H. Careful children, if you write small h, it is not the symbol of hydrogen, it will be wrong for you. Okay, in the same way, oxygen. What is the first letter in oxygen? O. So it is represented with O. Carbon. What is the first letter in carbon? C. So it is represented with capital C. Clear? Like that, with the first letters of the element names are given as symbols. Now you may get one doubt. Teacher, some of the elements will have same first letter. Then what will happen? Like example I will tell you. Here carbon C. There. Calcium. You listened about calcium, right? Calcium will be represented with K. It's its Latin name. Later I will tell about this Latin name. I will tell you another letter which starts with why calcium here Ca is given. Okay. K is potassium. Sorry. Calcium. You take. What is the first letter of calcium? C. Isn't it? So the symbol will come C. Now if I write C, you will get the doubt. What is this C? So according to me that C may be calcium. According to you that C can be carbon. So both cannot have, two elements cannot have the same symbol, right? So as carbon first given the symbol as C. Now calcium also starting with C. First two letters will be considered for giving the symbol. So while giving the symbol, what is considered? First two letters. As it is repeating, carbon already given C and again C came here. Then two letters will be considered. And when you are considering more than one letter, listen carefully children, very important. When you are considering more than one letter, then the first letter should be capital and second letter should be small. See, A is the symbol for calcium. If you write Ca, it is wrong. That is wrong. What is the correct one? Capital C, small a is correct. Small c, small a you write. This is also wrong. When the symbol is considered a single letter, all that single letters should be capital letters. When the symbol is considered more than one letter, then first letter should be capital, second letter should be small. Am I clear? In the same way, another element I will tell you, chlorine. Again this chlorine is starting with C. Again C will come. No. Then what should come? According to what we discussed, it should come CH, isn't it? But CH is not chlorine because you all pronounce chlorine. Pronounce it chlorine. What you are saying? Chlorine. What you are getting the letters there? See properly. Chlorine. So what are the letters you are getting after C? What you are getting in the pronunciation, not in the spelling. Here H is silent. So pronunciation chlorine, So after C what you are getting? L, isn't it? So the symbol of chlorine is capital C and small l. Capital C and small l. That is the symbol for chlorine. Because H is silent. Following me? Can I write this chlorine? Cl. Capital C, capital L, can I write? No, it is wrong. What is the correct one? Capital C, small l. When two letters are taken for the symbol, first letter should be capital, second letter should be small. Be careful children. Now onwards, wherever you are learning about chemistry, nowhere the elements names will be given, only symbols will be there. According to symbol, you should identify what is that element. Understood? I hope I am clear. Next, in the same way, another one. So, the symbol should be either one letter or two letters only. More than two letters, no symbol will be there. 3 letters, 4 letters will not be the symbol. Understood? They will come under names. The symbol will be either single letter. Single letter means capital letters. Or two letters. Two letters when it taken, first is capital letter, second is small letter. Clear children? Understanding? Right. Now, if we take some element like potassium. Potassium. What is the first letter in potassium, children? P. So, can we give the symbol P? No, because already phosphorus is invented by the time, and phosphorus is given the symbol P, capital P. Phosphorus is given the symbol capital P. So, here it is potassium, we can't give P. And it is not PO also. What is the symbol of potassium? Symbol of potassium is K. Capital K. Now are you getting the doubt? What is this, teacher? No K is there anywhere in this spelling. Why K is given? Because the Latin name of potassium is kalium. Okay, many of the elements are given the symbols basing on their Latin names. So, the Latin name of potassium. What is the Latin name of potassium? Kalium. Latin name of potassium is kalium. So, what is the first letter here? K. So, the symbol is given as K. How do we know that, teacher? You should by heart. Okay? You should by heart every element name and its symbol. For what Latin names? Even that Latin names also you should by heart or you should remember it. Okay, children? Right. So here 4 different ways. Chemical symbols usually consist of 1 or 2 alphabets only, not more than 2. And the symbols, many of the elements, symbol is given basing on their first letter, which will be capital letter. And some of the elements which are repeated again with the same first initial letter, starting letter. For them, two alphabets are given as the symbol. When more than 2 letters are given as symbol, first letter will be capital and second letter will be small. Okay, children? Understood this? Right. And next, some of the elements are given the symbol basing on their Latin names. Okay, basing on the Latin names like potassium, and another one is there, mercury. You all listened about mercury, no? Our thermometric liquid, mercury. You know the symbol of mercury? Symbol of mercury is Hg. Where is H, teacher, in the spelling? Where is G, teacher? Both are not there. Why the symbol Hg is given? Can you tell? Yes, basing on the Latin name. What is the Latin name of mercury? Hydrargyrum. Hydrargyrum is the Latin name of mercury. In the same way, gold. Gold symbol is Au. A small u. Capital A small u. Arum. Arum. Its Latin name is Arum. In the same way, silver. Silver symbol is Ag. Capital A small g. Why? Its Latin name is argentum. Argentum, A and G. Arum, Au. Argentum, here R is silent, so Az. Here what I told? Hydrargyrum. 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 2 words. So, first letter from first word and second word starting letter together named as Hg. Like that, basing on the Latin names that symbols are given. So, here some of the common elements which will be mostly used and their symbols are given. See here. Hydrogen H, carbon C, boron B, oxygen O, sulfur S, iodine I. These are all the elements with single one letter as a symbol. Starting letter will be the symbol. Whereas aluminium Al, capital A small l, argon capital A small r, calcium capital C small a, magnesium A silent here, that's why capital N small g, zinc capital Z small n, chlorine capital C small l. This all comes with the symbols, 2 letters as symbols, starting letter capital and next letter small. Next element potassium K. Why K for potassium? As I told, kalium, Latin name. So K. Copper, cuprum. For copper, what is the Latin name? Copper is represented with Cu because cuprum. What is its Latin name? Latin name is cuprum. So Cu, first two letters is given as the symbol. Mercury, hydrargyrum, Hg. Silver, argentum, Az. Gold, Rm, Au. Sodium, Na. Why? Natrium. Sodium Latin name is Na. What is Na? Natrium. Natrium is the Latin name. Understood, children? All please note down here beside the symbol potassium K, write its Latin name kalium, Kalium, kalium. Like that, for every element Latin names you note down. For the last column beside the symbol keep bracket and note down the Latin names, everyone, very important. Kalium, copper, cuprum, mercury, hydrargyrum, gold, Rm, silver, argentum, sodium, natrium. Note down these Latin names beside this symbol. All note down, please. Then in the next class, we will learn about atomicity. Okay, children? So all note down this in your textbook. Thank you.